really quick, Wags, and then I'll let you ask your question. Deal? Awesome. Okay, the difference is okay, people are fighting for your right to have opportunity, not for you to have an entitlement to end a life. As far as it goes, best way to say this, a baby is fully capable of being born at 23 weeks.
I
My
agree.
little cousin was born at 23 weeks, and she, of course, she did need medical help and resources. I think, at the end of the day, we are sitting here using arguments of ending a life, which is not okay at all because it's a human life. It has its own body, and it did not sign a consent form for you to have it unalive.
I 100% agree with that. So then my next question, and then I'm going to move on because I've got things to do. But my next question is, if I were being graped, and the only way to stop that grape
Great.
from hold on, just real quick question.
No, I'm correcting what you said because you said it with an R. You have to say great.
No, I said graped. I'm
Okay.
sorry. It may not have come through very clearly, but I did say graped.
Okay.
So if I were being graped, and the only way to stop that grape from continuing was for me to use unaliving force, would I hold the right to do that?
Yeah.
So because it's a bodily infringement violation, correct?
No, that's not why. That's far from why. That baby is not.
No. I'm talking about the grape. I'm not talking about the baby.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this, and it's not because of bodily infringement. In fact, this person is, harming you. That baby is not harming you.
So hold on. So I'm talking about the grapist.
Yes, I'm talking about the rapist.
So the rapist is infringing my bodily integrity rights. Absolutely 100 infringing my bodily integrity rights. So I have the right to use unalivement force in order to get that to stop if that's the only force that I can employ to get this rapist to stop.
Yeah, you're talking about self-defense, honey.
Yeah,
Kelly,
self-defense is different than unaliving a baby. No, I know where you're going with this. You are asking over and over the same question. Look, I'm gonna put it like this. If you need to defend yourself while being raped or kidnapped, that is absolutely okay. You could go ahead and end a life
but why
if
though?
it involves, because you are defending yourself.
Right.
Self-defense against an infant that you created is non-existent.
So well, hold on. So to be clear, so we don't create unintended pregnancies. We don't create pregnancies because pregnancy is a hidden process that we have no control over. The only control that occurs is the male's ejaculate that creates that.
Well,
so
that's
There is control. You
That's
don't lay
wrong.
down in bed.
So Kelly, I wasn't talking to
No,
you.
that's wrong.
Please.
You open your legs, you helped out.
Kelly, I wasn't talking to you.
I don't care if you're talking to me or not. You open your legs, it's not on
host. I thought we kind of
Accurate. You are saying there is no way to prevent getting pregnant.
No. I never made that claim. I said that we don't control conception. We absolutely don't control conception. So hold on. I don't have control over whether a sperm actually enters into the egg. I don't have control over that.
You have
to let you are being
Kelly, shh. I'm
Don't
talking to
shut
the
down,
host.
Kelly. Hold on, Kelly, love. I'll let you talk right now, okay, love?
So we understand that we don't control that process because if we could control that process, then infertility issues would be solved because then we could absolutely control who gets pregnancies and when. So we don't control conception 100%. We don't. We can help prevent conception from occurring, but that is still not a guarantee. But my point is that because I hold the right from the rapist to stop the rapist from continuing in infringing my bodily integrity rights, I also hold the right to stop the infringement from that pregnancy continuing because that pregnancy actually creates a bodily integrity infringement violation and therefore I get to remove it because
No. That is way fucking different. Like,
How
don't
is it
get me
different?
wrong. Hold on. You laying down and spreading your legs and creating a baby is much
So,
different than a man.
I just
forcing
explained
his-
we don't
Hold
create
on.
conception.
Hold on. Yes, you could not lay down in a bed. You could not open your legs.
So
That
grape
baby
exists.
did not choose to be created. You did baby making activities.
So,
Let's fucking face
so
it.
if I was graped then and I got impregnated, that would be my choice because
You are just going all over the fucking
Yeah, all over
place.
the world with this.
well, do you know how many women get pregnant from grape every year?
You know how many women ask for an abortion a year that were raped?
Well, that's not the point.
That's
The point
my
is,
question. That's my question.
So
you are
I-
trying to use my scenarios because I am a fucking rape victim.
So am I. So
as
am I.
your
So am I,
fucking
beautiful. And I'm
talking
sorry.
point. I don't care. You're not going to use victims as a talking point.
So
You
I am a
consent-
victim myself.
Very nice. If you consent to lay
Very
down
nice.
in a bed, hold on. If you consent to lay down, sorry, I'm not trying to yell. I'm making myself a coffee. So, if you consent to lay down in a bed with a man, that is way different than being raped.
So,
As far as it goes, we are well aware that is what baby making activity is.
so then
That
my
is
so
what it was primarily made to do.
so
It
then
was
my question
not
to you.
created, no. Sexual activity was not a thing of pleasure until we made it that. Before, it was nothing but baby making activity.
It's not true.
Yes,
That
it
is so not true. Show me biologically where that is true. I want a source for that
So,
because that is absolutely
I
not
can
true.
show you.
That's
I don't think
Is
that's
it
a
not
true.
called
IQ. Hold on,
Hey,
IQ. So
reproductive.
hold on. So
No, hold on. No, we're not doing this. If you went to medical school and you know that it's called reproductive organs, you know that means it's for reproducing, right?
I get that.
Okay, hold on. Kelly gets to talk too because it's just been me and you. Go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Not being to offend anyone, but how old are you in the top right corner?
I'm 54.
54. Okay, so you're close to my age. And you're pro-choice?
Yes, I am.
That blows my mind, first of all. How you are okay. Do you have children?
I do.
Do you have grandchildren?
I do.
Oh my God, now I'm sick at my stomach.
So well, and go to my page. Actually, my
I don't
pin-
want to go to your page.
Well, I'm going to tell you my
I'm
pinned
just
post is
saying,
from my.
Not
my pinned
only are you a mother, but you are a grandmother, and
Right,
you
right.
are okay. I am fucking talking,
Oh,
and you are
but-
okay with women unaliving their children, which means would you been okay if your daughter unalived your grandchild?
So yeah, Kelly.
Yes
so
or no?
well, Kelly, I'm going to explain to you.
No, I just need a yes or no with that.
Well,
Are you okay?
yes, I took my daughter to get an abortion.
That you are fucking disgusting. I don't want to talk to her, host.
She's a little emotional.
Kelly.
I'm not
understand.
emotional.
As
It
far
has
as it
nothing to do with
goes,
the
a lot of
disgusting.
people are passionate about the fact that
That's what it is, passion. How
women-
you
Are you
can
able to
take
say
your
something
daughter
first?
that unalived your very own grandchild is absolutely fucking disgusting.
Go read my pinned post, Kelly. Go read my pinned post.
I don't care.
Yeah, well, then you should care because my daughter is actually very thankful for it. And if my daughter did not have that abortion, she wouldn't have the grandchild that I have now. And she actually states that in her post on
I
my
don't
in my
wanna hear
pinned
that.
page.
That's
As
bullshit.
far as I'm concerned, you murdered one of your own grandkids,
Yes,
which
she did.
I
I find that
didn't.
despicable.
I
Vanessa,
didn't do
Absolutely
it.
was
say
okay with her
something,
daughter
or
doing that.
Do we have to be introduced or something?
Yeah, you love.
I'm 25.
25. Okay. What is it that you want to say?
I feel like, well, I'm pro-life, and this is something that pro-choice people don't understand. Like, I understand Kelly's passion, because, like, it really, like, when she says she's sick to her stomach, like, I get why she's saying that, because, like, it really, truly is a very saddening thing. Like, we see it as an actual child, an actual baby, and it is very, very sad when their life is taken. just in the same instance as if a 1 month old passed away, that would be very sad, but a 1 month old was like murdered. That is like, it is equally as sad to me, at least, I would say.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this, but unnecessary taking of a life, and that is what it is. Loss of a life. I do not know how it's not in the books as murder, right?
Host, can
Because
I ask a question? Just a
yeah,
quick
go for
question.
it.
All the pro-choice people, do you believe in human rights?
Nope.
Sorry, just a quick question.
Yeah, they can't if they believe in abortion.
No,
Well,
no,
that's
no,
not
no.
true.
Just I want to hear it from them. I'm just
That's not
no,
true.
can you answer my question first, please?
You're
I
for it?
always ask questions very systematically. I just needed to answer questions. Do you
Yes.
believe in human right?
Yes.
Okay, what's the first human right?
The first human right, the right to
Yeah,
life.
the principle.
How,
Okay.
so
All right, no,
however,
wait. I've been waiting. Just give me a second. We're gonna go on to. I'm gonna provide my argument, and then you can provide a counter argument if you have one. So, is the baby's life human? Is it human?
well, it's certainly not reptilian because we as
Okay, you're being
humans understand
sarcastic.
that
That's fine. So it
right.
is human, right? Correct.
It is human and it is alive. Yes, we know that.
Okay, so that means on just that very basis. That's the thing. I like to go down to use arguments and use them and go chronologically. If your arguments have no foundation, your arguments have no requisite knowledge behind them. If you violate your first edict of your ideology, that means your ideology goes back down to preference. It's just preference. You have no foundation, but you can provide an argument against it. Go ahead.
So there is no right to life at the expense of another. Your right to life absolutely ends where my rights begin. So just because you hold a right to life, should you need my kidney and I'm the only match, you do not have a right to life to hook up to my body or demand use of my kidney in order to save or sustain your life.
Yeah,
So your
okay.
right to life, hold on. So your right to life ends
Stops
exactly
where
where
my body begins. I can
Right,
tell
so-
your arguments. Your
No,
arguments
that
are very
argument
easily.
has
That's-
been
no,
debunked
I'm gonna
by
debunk
a
it. No, I'm gonna
woman
debunk
on the
it.
internet.
No, I'm just gonna ask a question. Do you really do you think you're the first one to put forward that argument? Have you ever seen the counterclaims to that argument? Have you ever examined them?
Yeah, so get your point, IQ.
Okay. No, what are I know your arguments very in and out. Do you know what argument I'm gonna put forward?
No, that's I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
So get on with it.
Okay. There's no reason to be insulting,
Yeah,
but that's
no
fine.
reason to be a
All right,
smartass.
cool. But that's fine. The thing about it is that you're talking about interventionist behavior. That's the thing about it. Interventionist behavior. Your right starts where my life begins. Yes, and there are certain nuances to that. If I'm in threat of your life, the abortion is never in the threat of your life. So you cannot pass the first stage, and that's the problem. You want to jump past the first stage, the foundation. You cannot jump across the foundation. I know you'd like to, but provide me an argument where you is not in the threat of your life. So provide me a foundation where you jump across the first one.
So a pregnancy absolutely threatens health, life, and well-being for every pregnant person. Absolutely factual statement. So
Oh.
Actually, it's
Tell them to get in the fucking car.
I hate this argument because at the end of the day, you saving my life is way different than you keeping your child alive.
Yeah,
You're not
let her
saving
provide the
its
argument.
life.
She's
Hold
gonna
on,
drop
IQ.
herself in a hole.
Hold on,
Go ahead.
IQ. Hold on. As far as it goes, I'm tired of that argument. It's been explained many times the difference between saving a life and you allowing a child to live. That is way different. My kidney going bad has nothing to do with you, right? I am not entitled to anything. Your creation of a baby that is currently living and not in jeopardy, you have no right to end that life because you
So-
created it.
So
Take
disaster.
some accountability.
So I will 100% disaster grant it full human rights that you hold. Do you hold the right to use an unwilling person's body against their will and consent to save or sustain your life? Do you
On the
currently
yes, on
hold?
the on the
Hold on,
you
IQ,
know
I'm talking.
No,
IQ, I'm
hold on.
talking to disaster.
you were talking to me
No,
first.
no,
okay?
that's not what we're going to do. You are
But-
using
but hold on.
stuff
No, no,
that
no.
has nothing in common because
It is
that
analogous.
person, did that person create me? No.
So creation is irrelevant. So
No,
so
it's
I'm going to
not.
get. Well, let me
You
explain to you.
made it.
Well, let me explain to you how it is irrelevant. Are you familiar at all with the court case of McFall versus Schimpf?
Nope.
So McFall versus Schimpf. McFall was a man who had a disease, and he needed a bone marrow transplant in order to save his life. He asked all of his friends and family to go get tested to see if they're a bone marrow match so he can get a bone marrow transplant in order to save his life. So his family all went and got tested. His cousin tested positive, perfect match. So his cousin said, yeah, I will donate my bone marrow in order to save your life. But then Schimpf, the cousin, who was the perfect match, said, I really don't want to go through this. It's going to be a lot of time off of work, and it's an extremely painful process. I'm backing out of being the donor. So McFall, who was the man who was looking at being unalive because of the illness that he has, was so incensed that he went to court to compel the law to legally force Schimpf to donate his blood, actually not donate, but
Bone
to
marrow.
force to have the bone marrow taken from him through legal means against his will and consent to save
Okay,
McFall's life. Hold on. Let me finish my point here.
This has
But the
nothing
point,
to do with anything.
well, I'm going to explain to you how it does. The courts then heard the case and said this is a slippery slope when you are taking the basic rights of an individual to determine how their body is used, who uses their body, and how long it's used is a dangerous slippery slope that can send terrible precedents to all kinds of terrible ramifications throughout this world, including the right to one's own bodily inviolability and self-determination. That's why it's dangerous, and that's why we hold rights to abortion, and we will always hold.
Bone marrow is way different.
So you don't understand
I do understand the fucking point you're making and how you're correlating it. A fetus that you put into your belly because you did it. You had
belly.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ,
God.
shut the fuck up, lady.
It wouldn't
Okay,
exist
I'm
without
sorry.
you, is what she's saying.
If you are going to lay down in bed and you're going to have a baby go implant into your uterus, I'm sorry, I can't say belly. I'm sorry that a woman your age has to be belly
Yeah,
at
no.
somebody. That
Well,
shit
I
was
thought you were a
weird.
medical professional. That's
Oh,
why I was
Jesus.
taking.
Lady, come on now. Get
I
real.
could talk like I am not at work when I talk to you. That's the fun part, is you are not my patient. You are not my boss. So I could say fucking belly and booty cheeks and boobies instead of the correct terms. But I'm sorry. If you as a irresponsible adult is going to lay down and create a life, put an infant into your uterus, you are 100% wrong to think that that baby doesn't have its own bodily autonomy. And you do not have the right to have it ripped apart. You don't have the right to have it unalived without doing what it takes to keep it alive. You are unaliving a baby. There is a huge difference than requiring somebody who's never had anything to do with you or didn't birth you to give you bone marrow, a kidney, so on and so forth. That is a completely different thing. Somebody saving your life and you not ending a life is completely different. Class dismissed. Not going back to that shit. That is bonkers, okay? I'm sorry. And like I said, you said you're 54? A 50-year-old having an issue because I said belly.
Well, I just found it weird as a medical professional. That's all.
Okay,
I'm a
well,
30-year-old
so when
mom.
you rubbed your daughter's belly with the baby in it, did you say, let me rub your uterus, let me touch your uterus? Or did you
Right?
say belly?
Do you go around rubbing pregnant women's uteruses?
I don't touch anybody's belly without
Did you not
asking.
touch your daughter's belly?
No, because actually she was in Spain when she was
Are you
pregnant.
fucking kidding me? This woman right
Well,
here, I swear
well,
to
she was in
God.
Spain.
Host,
I mean, it's hard, kind of hard for me
Okay.
to.
Okay, I don't have time for that
Next.
shit.
Host,
Can I just we got a little bit sidetracked because I didn't actually hear the answer when we're talking about the grape. We kind of got derailed a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to know the host. I wanted
Yeah,
to know. I do remember you saying that that there were people that wind up having the baby and are happy about it. However, my question that I wanted to know was that you personally, would you be okay with, if a woman was to be SA'd, would you be okay with her having an abortion?
I already told you the answer for this. Yes, I absolutely believe if this woman is at high risk of, PTSD, so on and so forth. I do not want a woman to end her life. But once again, due to false allegations and lying that comes from belligerent women, I absolutely believe a police report needs to be filed and there needs to be a proof of this assault happening so that she could go and have that taken care of. And I am talking to Mexico, so hold on. It may sound ugly, Mexico, that I have that view, but if me and you agreed, we don't like talking about solely statistics and sources.
Right,
So
right.
I will tell you, not only from my experience, but the people around me in the town I live in, within, I would say 5 years, I know of a man or two men a year getting false allegations put onto them. Right?
Yeah, and that's messed up. I do think it's messed up. But my only thing is, and I do not advocate for false allegations, of course, that is wrong. But so because we had talked about, a lot of women do underreport or not report. So now what if we're talking about when you had said, you would need a police record.
Mhm.
What if a woman was SA'd and, was embarrassed or, just didn't mention it. And then all of a sudden, 6 weeks later, she finds out, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And then she goes, at that point, evidence would be gone. There would be no way to prove it.
That fetus being removed would be proof of it, or the baby being born. I mean, that's the thing is, like I said, I'm not asking for this man to be convicted and trialed, right?
Oh, okay. So you would be okay even if she didn't know until later.
Yeah, as long as there is a report, because I'm going to be very honest. If it is a situation where a woman's life is at risk, the baby is at risk. So if there is a chance of self-harming, then yes, absolutely make a police report. Go ahead and have the procedure that is done. That is absolutely crucial to me. I'm not an idiot when it comes to it, but one thing I will openly say, and this may sound very ugly, right? This is about to sound really fucking ugly. There are many women who do not speak on their attacker until women after them get attacked.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I believe those women that was first attacked and never reported is 100% responsible for the others who were attacked. Because it could have taken just her opening her mouth. And now, she may be a 25-year-old woman when she got attacked. And she made it capable for a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, a 15-year-old, another 20-year-old to get attacked. We have this thing where, yes, processing what happens to you is absolutely needed. But at the same time, is your emotions worth jeopardizing someone else's life?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And it definitely, if the first woman were to pursue, come forward, then, and, it could definitely prevent.
Exactly. We should be
You know?
responsible as a community for stopping bad people. If somebody attempts to murder me and I know that they have a tendency to try to murder people when they flip out, but I keep my mouth shut because I need to process what happened to me. And then tomorrow my neighbor gets murdered. I'm basically an accomplice because I know what this person's doing.
Yeah, I understand. I wouldn't necessarily call it an accomplice, and I don't think that woman number one in question is, I would say, to blame for the others. I think her, if she has the courage to come forward, I think that it would or could or hopefully would prevent it from happening to other people. But I wouldn't blame her because, to be honest, I never came forward when I was SA'd. I did not get pregnant as a result or anything, but just SA'd in general. I mean, this was years ago, but I've never.
The problem is we like to act like we're moral humans, right, Mexico? That's what we like to think, is we're moral, right?
Right.
But our morality is based off of the wrong things. It's based off of solely emotion rather than the well-being of everybody around us. That is where things are twisted. Is best way to say this: if you're upset and in a rage and you have a weapon on my chest about to hurt me, nowhere should a police officer consider your feelings over my life. And that is what society has been doing, is we have been considering everybody's emotion rather than the best well-being of everybody around us. Like I said, you guys want to say y'all are moral because you are thinking about the mother's emotion in the time. Oh, I got reported. But
What?
anyways,
Oh, shit.
Well,
yeah,
I
people
understand
do
what
that.
you're
We
saying.
love
I just
TikTok Shop.
I did actually, you guys, buy
love
something off
TikTok
of
Shop.
TikTok Shop a little while ago. It was supposed to be a realistic robotic puppy, and it was really fake. But I did get it off TikTok Shop.
TikTok Shop.
Yay! TikTok
Just
shop.
saying.
Oh, love TikTok Shop. Love it.
It was.
I
But
got my vacuum off
yeah,
there. It's amazing.
love, like I'm saying, is morality, your morals should never lie with an emotion over the well-being. That's
Yeah,
it.
and I do understand where you're coming from. I just think that it is very difficult to say, oh, well, in this situation, you should do that. In this situation, I would have done that. And because you really never know how exactly you're going to react when it happens. Like in horror movies and stuff, and you're like, oh my God, why didn't you run away? Or, stuff like that. It's like, you don't know what your response is going to be until you're in that situation.
Well,
So
that's
I do
the
understand
problem
where
is,
you're coming from, but I just don't think that you can
okay,
kind of like blanket it. If you know.
Mexico, I'm gonna share a little information, right?
Okay.
I and Cirque, I had put down in the comments that I told you I was going to rotate you back up in a bit, so be patient, please. Yeah, Mexico, let's see how quietly I could say this. My child is a product of one of my assaults, and my grandmother tried telling me it would be okay if I, terminated it, right?
Oh, I'm sorry
Right.
about that.
And I kept said baby. Now, was I torn to pieces? Yes. Did I, for 1 second, think my hurt and pain could be over and it would be less of a reminder? Yeah. Like, who wouldn't have that thought?
Right, exactly.
Of course. No, I mean, and that's the thing. More power to you, and I hope that you're happy with the choice that you made. And, it's definitely a strong,
The
brave of
point
you to go
is
through with it, but
we teach women to take the easy way out for their emotional wants rather than having the, I guess you could say, the morals to say, hey, ending a life is not okay. I mean, look at society now, and this is going to sound ugly. I live in a town where there was a mass pew-pewing. I see on the news every single fucking day where these children are running around unaliving people. And if people do not stop for a minute and think that, abortion may not tie into this at all, it absolutely does. Because when you make it acceptable to end any life whatsoever, there is no stopping it. People are going to do it in the most fucked up ways possible. Nobody realized this. If you make stealing okay because that person was poor, guess what? Other people are going to start stealing and in higher quantities. Nobody thinks about the outcome of what everybody says. That, oh, it's okay. Like, I literally hear the Democratic Party say, whole life or whatever.